subject that I was volunteered to discuss with you all today was, it started off with what was the market like in the 60s and 70s, and then when I get here and I look at the program, I was about collecting Mexican coins in the 60s and 70s, and you may have a little different title. First of all, my name is H.T. Nance, for the few of you that I don't know already here. So welcome, and consider this a discussion. This is not a lecture. This is not a presentation. This is a reflection of what I experienced as a very young collector in the 60s and 70s, and it kind of led up to what I can call the golden period of Mexican numismatics, which was sometime in the 70s, 73, 75, 76. And I've got some documentation that kind of leads into this. So to get started, Mexican coin collection. Collecting coins is about people. It's about dealers, it's about mentors, it's about friends. Talk a little bit about the flow of coins, how they got from their original source, mostly in Mexico, where they went, and who were the individuals who helped with that flow of coins. And then a little bit about market influences. I'm going to start about 1976 with a book that was actually done by George Vogt, which was a revision done by Neil Utberg. Does anybody here not know who Neil Utberg was? I didn't think so. Everybody knows who Neil Utberg was. You can hear me okay?
I said we're all here because of him.
You're absolutely right. Let's look at some of his work. When Neil Utberg, first of all, let me tell you about my relationship with Neil Utberg. I never met the gentleman. I grew up 15 miles from where he lived in Edinburgh, Texas. I lived in Mission. I never once shared a conversation or met him personally, but I certainly am an appreciator of the work and his body of work. Okay, George Vogt purchased, to my knowledge, the copyright to all of Neil Utberg's work sometime in the early 70s, mid-70s. And what I want to start with is George dedicated this work, if you'll see the fourth line down here, dedicated to Neil Utberg, author, original author, the pioneer of Mexican numismatics. And in my view, he was the true pioneer and the really originator of knowledge about coins that paved the way for why we're here today. Now, what's interesting to me is George came up with a list of contributors to his work and effort. There are over 100 names on this list. I personally have had conversations or discussions with 23 people who are on that list. Other than Mike and I Mike is on it, Don Canapero, who you may know is here today. He's another one on the list. But at that time, it looked to me like George Vogt put everybody's name on there who had ever touched a Mexican coin. But he starts with Moises Verhowski. If anyone ever had the privilege of meeting him, a very interesting coin dealer in Mexico City, who was a refugee from the Russian Revolution.